Am I the asshole for cancelling on my 35F best friend's 36F birthday party at the last minute? I 35F have 2 children 5 meters and 3F and a baby who is only 16 weeks old. My first 2 pregnancies have gone quite smoothly, with a few bumps on the way but not much problems. My 3rd pregnancy was really tough as I got diagnosed with preeclampsia, put to bed rest for 6 weeks, and had an emergency C-section during which both me and the baby almost died. I stayed in the hospital for longer than 2 weeks before I was deemed healthy enough to be released. My husband has been beside me in the delivery room all 3 times and does most of the chores and takes care of the kids while I recover and makes sure I have everything. I have saved more than enough money from both our jobs to have the ability to afford to stay at home for as long as is needed. My best friend, we'll call her Ashley, has been my BFF since elementary school. We've never missed each other's birthdays, no matter what was going on in our lives or how far apart we were. She also was aware of my troubles. Yesterday was her birthday. In the morning I was feeling below par and I was too tired to get out of bed, so my husband took care of all the kids and helped me shower like he did a 100x before during my pregnancies and postpartum. When it was around 2 p.m., I was feeling a little better, but I was still worn out, so I called Ashley. Her birthday party was scheduled at 3 p.m. and I was supposed to arrive at 2:30 p.m. I waited until 2 p.m. because I knew how important her birthday is and I was hoping that I would feel good enough to come over. I told her that I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I won't be able to come to your birthday party because I'm not feeling well. She asked what was wrong, and I told her that I was extremely exhausted and there was no way I can be at her party. I literally heard her sigh angrily and she said, "But what about our promise? I broke my arm while racing and still traveled 1,000 miles for your birthday. But you can't drive 20 miles to see me. If your fat ass can reach the grocery store, then you would come here if you actually cared." That's when I became mad and told her, "Well, if you had kids then you would understand," and that's when she said FCKU and hung up. That wasn't the entire conversation. You might think, what's so bad about saying if you had kids? Ashley can't get pregnant due to an incident that happened during our younger college days and the topic is very sensitive for her. So me saying that was extremely vile. This morning, I woke up feeling much better and I attempted to contact Ashley so I could apologize, but she wouldn't pick up and ignored all my text messages. My husband said that I shouldn't apologize because if she was a real friend she would have shown concern and worry instead of anger and the attitude of a brat, so she deserved my comeback. But I feel so guilty for bringing up her inability to have kids and I feel like such an asshole for doing so. Am I the asshole? You're the asshole. First of all, it's a stupid pact that made no accommodations for adult life situations. Although, if you were still having problems getting out of bed or showering on your own 4 months postpartum, I hope you are under a doctor's care. You waited until the last minute to tell her you weren't coming. If you have consistently been this weak, you should have warned her days or weeks ago. Her comment was unkind, but your comment was downright cruel. Of course it's okay to not go if you're unwell, but you didn't need to be a jerk and throw her infertility in her face. You're the asshole. Whilst she should have been a bit more understanding. Saying you'd understand if you had kids to someone that can't have kids makes you far more tar than her. If you had kids you'd understand. You're the asshole. She was mean. You're below vile. I'd never speak to you again. Lifetime of friendship doesn't give you the right to do that. I cannot imagine the pain my friend who cannot have kids goes through. I don't care how ugly she was to me. I'd never ever use that as a weapon. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. She drove 100 miles. Update based on comment traveled 1,000 miles to you on your birthday with a broken arm. You had your third child 4 months ago. This is your new normal. And you know exactly what it involves. Yet you couldn't drive 20 miles on her birthday. Or cancel earlier. Or offer an alternative to celebrate with her. Or even just keep your pie hole shut about her infertility on her actual birthday. I hope she keeps you blocked. I broke my arm and still came to visit you. Yeah. Well, you can't have kids. Talk about bringing a rocket launcher to a knife fight. You're the asshole. I do not care what caused the fight. You weren't feeling well. She did get oddly mean about you not showing up. But guess what? You still don't talk about infertility to win an argument. I hope you lost a friend. Because I'd never trust someone who freely uses infertility as ammunition in a BS high school argument. You're the asshole not for canceling but for being so incredibly vile as to taunt her about not having children. Use any excuse you want. You are still going to know you are a nasty piece of business who deliberately hurt someone you supposedly care about. I wouldn't take your calls either. Any friendship I had with you would be permanently over. Gonna say you're the asshole. She said something not nice but you bailed last minute and then said something unforgivably mean. If I were her I would block you and never look back. You sound really mean. Especially if it's a sensitive topic too. We trust our friends to not ever say evil things about things that hurt us. Just because you popped out 3 kids doesn't mean you are better than her. Sue. It sucks when lives change and friendships have to change too. But neither one of you handled this well. By the way, it's pretty much always a dick move to say if you had kids you'd understand. She's too old to be holding an obligation like that against you when you were put in such a life-threatening situation. And the way she called you fat. Are you even really friends? You, however, are messed up for going for the throat with a longtime friend like that. If that's the first response you have for her, I repeat, are you even really friends? You're the asshole. Couldn't you have just called her that morning and perhaps suggested she come over FaceTime, etc., so that you could spend time together on her day? The fact that you threw her inability to conceive at her was below the belt. Personally, I hope she never speaks to you again. You're the asshole. It was an ESH until you hit her where it hurts. Using infertility as an insult is never okay and would end a friendship for me. You should have reached out prior to let her know where your health was heading instead of backing out an hour prior. She should be a better, more understanding friend, and you absolutely suck for the children comment. You're the asshole and you know it. You must have expected that she would be disappointed that you're missing her birthday. You're the asshole. You waited until the very last minute to tell her. You took a jab at the fact she can't have kids. WTF is wrong with you? But if you're that sick, tired, and unrecovered 4 months after your surgery, you need to go see your doctor, and I hope you already are. That's not normal. Not being able to shower yourself 4 months later isn't normal. Are you sure you don't have postpartum depression or PTSD or something?